Welcome back to Grim Happenings, where real people share real experiences with the paranormal. Today we're taking a quick detour into the strange world of cryptids with another cryptid quickie. Today's creature is one that doesn't nearly get as much attention as Bigfoot or Mothman, but it's one of the most bizarre cryptids ever reported, the Dover Demon. The Dover Demon seemingly appeared out of nowhere in the spring of 1977, terrified a handful of teenagers over 2 nights, and then vanished just mysteriously as it arrived. So, what exactly did they see? Let's find out. Our story begins in Dover, Massachusetts, a quiet town about 20 miles southwest of Boston. It's the kind of place filled with forests, winding back roads, and plenty of darkness once the sun goes down. On the evening of April 21st, 1977, 17-year-old Bill Bartlett was driving home with 3 of his friends. As they traveled along Farm Street around 10:30 p.m., Bill noticed something unusual illuminated by his headlights. At first, he thought it might be a small child crouching near a stone wall. But as he got closer, he realized something wasn't right. The creature had an enormous watermelon-shaped head that seemed too large for its body. It had long, thin arms and legs, spindly fingers that wrapped around the stones, and glowing orange eyes. Its skin appeared pale, almost peach-colored, and completely hairless. Bill was so disturbed that he slammed on the brakes and stared at the creature for several seconds before speeding away. Later that night, he returned to sketch exactly what he had seen. His drawing would become one of the most famous images associated with the Dover Demon. The strange part is, Bill wasn't the only witness. Just a few hours later, around midnight, another teenager named John Baxter was walking home after visiting his girlfriend. He walked along another rural road. He noticed a figure standing in the distance. Thinking it was another teenager, John called out. The figure didn't respond. Instead, it slowly moved toward him. Later, John described the creature roughly 4 feet tall with a large head, glowing eyes, and incredibly long limbs. Suddenly frightened, he backed away. The creature turned and disappeared into the wooded area. John ran home convinced he had encountered something that wasn't human. The following evening brought yet another report. Around midnight on April 22nd, 15-year-old Abby Ribham and her friend Will were driving through Dover when Abby spotted something crawling beside the road. She described a small creature with a massive head, thin limbs, and bright eyes. She said it looked almost monkey-like, but without fur. Will briefly caught a sight of it before it disappeared into the darkness. 3 independent sightings, 2 nights, very similar descriptions. Then, nothing. The creature was never reported again. So, what was the Dover Demon? As with most cryptid encounters, there are several theories. One possibility is mistaken identity. Some researchers believe the witnesses may have seen a young moose. While that sounds strange, juvenile moose often have awkward proportions with long legs and oversized heads. The problem? Young moose don't have glowing eyes, human-like hands, or hairless peach-colored skin. Others suggest it could have been a malformed animal suffering from a disease or severe birth defects. Again, possible, but none of the known animals native to Massachusetts quite match the witnesses' descriptions. Then there are those who believe the Dover Demon wasn't an animal at all. Some paranormal investigators suggest that it might have been an extraterrestrial visitor. An oversized head, thin body, large eyes certainly resembles a stereotypical gray alien. Could the witnesses have encountered an alien exploring the area? It's impossible to say. Another theory proposes the creature was an interdimensional being, a visitor from somewhere outside our understanding that briefly crossed into our world before disappearing again. And of course, cryptid enthusiasts argue that perhaps it was exactly what it had appeared to be, an unknown species that science has yet to identify. One aspect that makes the Dover Demon especially fascinating is the credibility of the witnesses. The teenagers were interviewed separately. Their stories remained remarkably consistent. None of them became famous or attempted to profit from their experiences. In fact, most simply maintained that they described exactly what they believed they had seen. Some investigators couldn't find evidence that the teens had coordinated an elaborate prank. That doesn't prove that the Dover demon existed, but it does make the case much harder to dismiss outright. Nearly 50 years later, the Dover demon remains one of North America's most intriguing cryptid mysteries. There have been very few convincing sightings since 1977, unlike creatures such as Bigfoot or Dogman that continue to generate reports every year. Instead, the Dover demon exists almost like a snapshot in time. 3 witnesses, 2 nights, one unforgettable mystery. Was it an unknown animal, an alien, a creature from another dimension, or simply a series of misidentified encounters that became one of the strangest cryptid legends in American history? Whatever the truth may be, the Dover demon has earned its place among the world's most unusual cryptids. Thank you for joining me for this Cryptid Quickie. Have you ever heard of the Dover demon before? Or do you think the witnesses simply mistook an ordinary animal for something extraordinary? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow Grim Happenings so you never miss a new story. And if you've had a paranormal experience involving ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, or anything unexplained, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay open-minded, and keep your eyes on the shadows.